In this video, we are going to take a look at the masking features in Capture One using the Luma Range and Combine Mask feature that is relatively new to Capture One, not the Luma Range, the Combine Mask that is. And full disclosure, I did reach out to Capture One, asking them if they would sponsor me. They gave me a year free subscription and they've given you guys a 30% discount. So if you use the code in the description, you will get 30% off your annual subscription of choice. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So this is from a shoot I did for a national jewelry brand. And let's just have a look at the before and after. Before, after. So there's quite a lot going on there. Let me take you through what I did just on the image layer. Okay, so a little bit of highlight, a little bit of contrast, reduced the shadows a little bit, pushed out the black points in our levels, just sort of played around there a little bit. And in the Luma curve, some small tweaks there, and then a very gentle S curve. And then overall in our color, I master wheel pushed it into the sort of more blue tones here, and then just having a look. Not much going on over there, but a little bit still pushing towards the cooler tones. I really wanted to sort of lean into the cool tones for this particular shoot. So that is, let's take off our masks and then you can see the before and after there, what's going on. I did do some retouching, taking out blemishes, even out skin. Not really going to get into that in this video, and added a bit of grain. Okay, so going into our adjustments panels. And then actually, why don't we do, which I didn't have, is a little bit of the negative vignette somewhere there. I think that looks good. Okay, so mask one, mask two, and let's have a look at where that mask is doing. So this is in the shadow. So you can rename your mask, your layers. It's probably a good idea to rename that to shadow. And let's rename this to okay, so having a look to see what we're actually doing within the Luma range and why that's so powerful. And I think possibly what I should do is start from a brand new image and just to show you how we can work back to that image. I think that's going to be a better use of our time. So let's do that. Let's copy. Before we get into that, super powerful by using this type of mask, specifically the Luma range, but also using your subject, background, people, which could be clothing, could be hair, could be eyes. What you can do is if you copy the adjustments onto a completely different image, for example. So let's reset this and you apply the image. What's going to happen is that based on your criteria, the mask, it's not going to be a clone of the mask. It's actually going to be an intelligent mask, meaning that, as you can see, it's only affecting our highlight areas and it's only affecting our shadow areas. In the same way, then I don't have to redo those masks. So provided the images live within the same set, I didn't really change my lighting in studio. That way, once you've done your grade on one image, you can very quickly copy that over. And I think that is very powerful. Okay, so let's go back to this image and let's copy everything. Sorry. Let's copy that. Paste it. No, okay, sorry. So for the sake of expedience, let's copy this, paste it onto our clone. And then what we can do is just remove these. Okay, so, I mean, that looks pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that. but just to change it up a little bit, give it a little bit more color. Okay, so let's start by adding a new adjustment layer, and let's add a Luma Range. And this will be, let's bring this back into our fold. Okay, so, all right, we're seeing our mask. Hello. Let's try that again. Okay, so let's add a new adjustments layer. Let's add a Luma Range. Let's wait for that mask to load. Okay, so now let's affect only our highlights. So left-hand side of the range, shadows. And then as you can see, we can pull that and really just target the highlights. And then if I zoom in, can I zoom in? Okay, can you see how the mask is kind of like pixelated and breaking up? So all you have to do is pull the radius slider over, and that kind of softens your edges. Okay, so let's pull back on that and see. Perfect. Okay, so it's in our highlight areas, which is exactly where I want it. We can go apply and then scroll down. And now if we go into our highlights and we start to push into that cyan, there you go. Now we're only affecting right there. Okay, so see how it's just cooling off the highlights, creating color contrast within the image. Obviously our skin being that beautiful skin color, and our highlights, instead of being a bit pinkish, we can now cool those highlights off. Okay, so it's happening everywhere where we're seeing a little bit of that highlight. And let's see, just have a look at our mask again. Perfect. So very, very finessed. What you can do as well, which I really love, is that you can use this as a kind of dodging and burning, but the lazy route. So let's do this again. Let's create another mask. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say I want to go adjustment layer, add Luma Range, and now I only want it to affect the skin tone, nothing else. All right, so there I can sort of pull this onto her face. So it's in the fingers, but it's also in the clothing and the background, and I don't want that. So combine mask, subtract, and let's go background, and that's going to take our mask off the background, right? But I'm still seeing it in the clothing. So, and I'm seeing it in the fingers and the neck. I could remove that by creating another combine mask. So if I go combine mask, subtract, and go people, create mask, and then I say clothes and body skin. And then, oh, let's leave the body skin. Let's just take it off the clothing for now. Create mask. See how it's removed it off the clothes. So now what I could do, I could come into my curves adjustment and just, I mean, don't do that, but just very subtle, push that up. And then we can turn it on and off. I don't know if you can see that, but let's do that. Very subtle, but we've now literally created a dodge and burn, well, a dodge mask. So let's continue with our grade, and let's affect only the shadow area. So we'll do the exact same thing. Go adjustment layer, add Luma Range, and now we're going to do the reverse. So we're going to pull off the highlights and really only affect our shadows. So I could leave it there. It's very much on her skin. If I pulled it further, I'm still kind of getting that sort of vibe. So let's smooth out that radius a little bit. Click apply, and then go combine mask, people, create mask, and pull it off body skin, face skin, pupils. I only wanted to affect the hair and the clothing. Create mask. And then same thing again. We could, in this one, pull down a little bit, go into our shadows. Okay, so let's zoom in there. Let's go back to our adjustment layer. I mean, you can see it's really, really targeted, really, really specific. And that is what I love about this, because previously this was near impossible to do. Either you would have to brush in, which again is painstaking. This way you can target your highlights and shadows very, very specifically. And then using the combine mask feature, take off or add in to areas which may not be picked up in the Luma range. So I hope that helps. That's it for the video. If you do like the video, I love hearing from you guys. Honestly, the comment section for me, it's pure gold when I've actually helped someone. This is not always the case, and it is the biggest reward that I can get, is getting some positive feedback that I actually did help someone. So please, if this did help you, I'd love to hear from you. And if there's anything else you'd like me to go over, I'm happy to do that. But don't forget, there is that discount code for Capture One annual subscription that is 30% off, and we'll see you guys in the next video.